Hello, everyone. My name is Jenny Bennett, and I truly wish that I was able to speak to you all in person, but I guess this is the best we can do with social distancing and technology. I'm an emergency room nurse at HCA Houston Healthcare in Tomball. Been a nurse for 13 years. I'm also the founder of Swim Safe Forever, the Northwest Houston chapter, and Parents Preventing Childhood Drowning, as well as chair of the Water Safety Work Group within SETRAC's Injury Prevention Committee. So I thank you all for taking the time to listen and watch today. I'm also a mom, so I'm at home right now with my children who are out of school. There's Kyla, 14, Lily is 8, and Asher is 2. During this lecture, I will be discussing drownings in the pediatric population, preventative measures, and how you can make a difference. As pediatricians, you are on the front lines to help end this endemic. You are a trusted constant in the lives of your patients and their parents. They trust you to give them the education they need to keep their children safe. Drowning is a leading cause of unintentional injury-related death. Most infant drownings are in a bathtub. For children aged 1 through 4, drownings are more likely to occur in residential or backyard pools. We are seeing more drownings from toddlers in middle-class homes that have backyard pools. Older children are more likely to have a drowning accident on open bodies of water, such as lakes and rivers. In the state of Texas, drowning is the second leading cause of death overall. But not every drowning accident is fatal. It is estimated that for every fatal drowning, 5 more children seek emergency medical treatment for a non-fatal drowning. These non-fatal drownings can range in severity from mild or no injury to severe brain damage. The link attached will take you directly to the updated Prevention of Drowning policy by the American Academy of Pediatrics. The Texas Department of Family and Protective Services updates its website regularly with information about the drowning fatalities in Texas. This graph shows the number of children who have drowned in Texas over the last decade. As you can see, there has not been a significant change in the statistics for drowning during this time. In fact, it has been the leading cause of injury-related deaths over car accidents since the legislature for seatbelts and car seats have changed and vehicles have improved in safety over the last 20 years. In the Houston area, 27 children drowned in 2018, representing nearly 1/3 of the childhood drownings for the entire state of Texas. Here we see a high rate of toddler drownings. 17 children under the age of 4 drowned this year. 10 children drowned in Harris County alone. In 2019, our area had 28 fatal childhood drownings. Again, we see a high rate of toddler drownings. There were 13, but we also see an increase in school-aged children who had drowned. There were 12 children between the ages of 5 and 14 years. Our region has the highest percentage of drownings in the state of Texas consistently. Harris County this year had 18. In order to get a better understanding of who is at most risk in our area, I looked at the ages of children in Harris County over the last 6 years. During this 6-year period, the age most at risk for drowning was 2 years old. After that, 1-year-olds were at the highest risk, followed by 3-year-olds. In Harris County, the number of children who drown under the age of 5 make up 2/3 of all childhood drownings. These are children who will never make it to kindergarten, and the reason is 100% preventable. Based off the data from the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services, I also graphed the location of the injury. In the state of Texas, from 2016 through 2019, 64% of drowning fatalities occurred in a residential pool. Broken down by age in Harris County, we can see the location of the injury. The blue indicates the bathtub, orange indicates the pool in gray open water. The yellow is other. 100% of infant drownings occurred in a bathtub. Most drownings for toddlers occurred in pools, which is the orange color. And you can see up through age 6. Looking at data from the state of Texas, for school-aged children through adolescence, the location shifts from pools to open bodies of water as being the greatest threat. By age 17, the number of children who drown more than triples than that of an 8-year-old, and all but one of those being in open water, such as lakes, rivers, and beaches. The American Academy of Pediatrics recognizes that toddlers and adolescents are at an increased risk as well. Particularly interesting is that 69% of children younger than 5 years old drowned during a time that they were not expected to be in or near the water. Also, natural water fatal drowning rates for adolescents 15 to 17 years old was more than 3 times higher than that of children 5 to 9 years old and twice the rate of children younger than 5 years old. I also reached out to DSHS, and an epidemiologist was able to pull data for us specific to our region from the state submersion registry. The last year completed is 2016. Based off this report, I can see that males are at a higher risk of drowning than females, 62% compared to 38%. Can also see that the age group of 0 to 4 is the highest risk of submersion injuries as well as fatalities. When you combine the childhood years of 0 to 14, you can see that this age group accounts for 87% of the drownings. It's also interesting that for every fatality, there were 5 hospitalizations due to a submersion event. This is my why. His name is Jackson James Bennett, and he is my son. He lost his life nearly 4 years ago to drowning in our backyard pool. He was 18 months old. Here is our family in 2013 when we moved into our new home. We were so excited to have a pool in our backyard. The picture on the left is the day we closed on our house. As you can see, I'm wearing my scrubs and I'm about to head to work. Some pictures of my daughters jumping and playing in the pool. December of 2014, we welcomed our son Jackson. After having 2 girls, we were so excited to have a little boy. He brought us so much joy. Jackson loved the water. He was a water baby. We had him in parent-child swim lessons to help him be comfortable in the water so we could enjoy the pool as a family that summer. We also had him wear a puddle jumper flotation device in the pool as we thought this was keeping him safe. July 9th, 2016, Jackson wandered outside to our backyard pool through a normally locked dog door while he was unknowingly unsupervised. After 5 minutes, I discovered he was not safe inside our home. I also remembered that I forgot to lock our dog door. I ran straight outside and found him floating face down in the water. I pulled him out and started CPR. He spent 4 days at Children's Memorial Hermann Hospital before he was declared brain dead. 3 days later, he became a hero and donated his organs. I didn't know, and I do not remember being educated by our pediatrician. Most parents who have lost a child to drowning all say the same. They just didn't know. I didn't know a toddler under 30 pounds could drown in as little as 30 seconds. I didn't know that over 2/3 of toddlers drown during non-swim times they are not expected to be in the water. 70% of toddlers who drown are in the care of one or both parents at the time of the accident. I didn't know drowning is silent. There's no big splash or cry to help. Most toddlers who drown were seen safe inside the home 5 minutes prior to being found in the water. I didn't know there was such a thing as layers of protection and that multiple layers of protection are necessary to prevent drownings. I didn't know creating a culture of fun in the water was dangerous for young children. I didn't know most toddlers drown in a water source at their home. I didn't know about survival self-rescue swim lessons. And I didn't know that there was a stigma of parents being neglectful. It's not enough to just watch your children to prevent drownings.
Who is that?
Give Daddy kisses.
Aww.
Aww.
So how should we educate so not one more parent says, I didn't know? Well, we know that infants are most likely to drown in the bathtub. So education should focus on never leaving a child unattended in the bathtub or allowing an older sibling to be responsible for the child in the bath. Since drowning is the leading cause of injury-related death for children aged 1 through 4, and these drownings are most likely to occur in residential pools, we need to educate on barriers and stressing layers of protection. High-quality swim lessons are also necessary as a layer of protection. And since this is the third cause of injury-related death in children aged 5 through 14 nationally, and these accidents are most likely to occur on natural bodies of water, education regarding life jackets when on or near open water should be encouraged. This graphic shows the layers of protection. It's important to use multiple layers because if one fails, there will be additional measures to keep your child safe.
We thought he was safe upstairs with his sisters.
He was excited to go swimming for the very first time.
Taken to a river for an afternoon of swimming
while playing with children and adults.
He grew up around the water and had a healthy respect for it.
But he snuck away and found the pool on his own.
Jumped in the pool unnoticed.
and the current got her.
Wandered off and found the pool alone.
They got out for the first and the last time while I slept 5 feet away.
Slipped out of an unlocked door and fell into the intercoastal waterway.
Jackson Bennett.
Zane Whitmer.
Carissa.
Lori Ward Sonoda.
Jake Morrison.
Rhea Nicole Harvey.
Jackson and Leighton Canavan.
Removing our dog door would have saved our son.
Quality self-rescue swim lessons could have saved Jake's life.
Having a pool alarm.
Wearing a life jacket.
Having a designated water watcher.
Constant supervision would have prevented her from drowning.
Having a self-lodging pool fence around the pool could have saved them.
Minority children are at a higher risk of drowning.
Drowning is silent and happens quickly.
88% of child drownings happen with at least one adult present.
Children 9 years old and older are more likely to drown in natural bodies of water.
Drowning happens to other people until you become other people.
It happened to us. It could happen to you.
Constant supervision should be the first layer of defense to protect the child from drowning. Stay within arm's reach of the child when swimming. Get in the pool with them. This encourages young children that the pool is not a place they should be without an adult. If a child goes missing, check the pool first. Also, keep children away from drains. During a pool party or gathering, assign a water watcher to supervise the children. This adult should stay free of distractions with their eyes on the children at all times. Adults can take turns and use a badge like the one Pool Safely has in this picture here to show that they are the water watcher. Stay free of distractions. Don't rely on flotation devices. Supervision must be close, constant, and attentive. That being said, I mentioned earlier that 69% of toddler drownings occur when the child is not expected to be in or near the pool. Children this age are mischievous. They wander and they usually know more than we think they do. Children love the water. They are drawn to it. This is especially true for children on the autism spectrum. Additional layers of protection are vital to prevent this vulnerable population from drowning. Most young children drown during a brief lapse in supervision. Most report a period less than 5 minutes. Have you ever lost sight of your child and found them in one of these situations? Maybe they got into your makeup, drew on the wall, or strung toilet paper around your home. There's a stigma that drowning happens to parents who are neglectful, but the truth is, if you've ever been in a situation like this, your child could have drowned. That is why it's so important to have barriers between your home and the pool. Properly installed and maintained pool fences can reduce drownings by 98% according to Lifesaver Pool Fence. These fences should be at least 4 feet high, separate the pool from the rest of the yard, and have self-closing, self-latching gates. Pool nets and pool covers can also be effective when used vigilantly. Once you are finished swimming, the net needs to be replaced immediately in order to be effective. Doors and windows leading outside need to be secured and toddler-proof. Even if you do not have a backyard pool, a curious child can wander outside and find a natural body of water, such as a pond or a canal. High locks, door alarms, and toddler-proof handles can prevent the child from wandering outside unnoticed. Pet doors should be permanently removed in order to prevent the child from accessing. There are other alarms on the market that may be useful to prevent drownings. Pool alarms detect a change in the water that could be caused from a child jumping or falling in. Personal self-immersion alarms, like the pictured safety turtle, can be worn on the child and alarm when submerged. Cleaning up after swimming is also an important measure to take. Toys left in the pool can entice a child to jump in or accidentally fall in. Kiddie pools should be emptied after each use to prevent an accident. Bathtubs pose a great risk to children under 1 year of age. Education on never leaving a child unattended in a bathtub is necessary. Last year, we lost 9 children to bathtub drownings. The year before that, 11, and before that, 10. As you can see, as far back as 2014, there hasn't really been a strong decrease in these drownings, meaning more education is necessary. Bathtub safety should also include discussion on not letting other children watch their younger sibling while bathing. Infants can slip in bath seats when not supervised and drown in only a few inches of water. Other threats of drowning indoors include buckets and toilets. Older infants who are learning how to pull themselves up are at risk for these hazards, as they do not have the ability or strength to lift their head if fallen headfirst into a bucket or toilet. Buckets should be emptied after use. Access to bathrooms should be restricted by keeping doors closed, and toilet locks can be utilized to prevent this accident. Open water also poses a risk for childhood drownings. The use of life jackets can reduce this risk dramatically. Swimming in open water is very different than swimming in a pool. A child can be a strong swimmer and still drown. Currents in the water, inability to gauge water depth, water temperature, and clarity can impede a swimmer's ability. Life jackets are the law in open water for boating until the age of 15. Flotation devices that are filled with air should be discouraged. Adolescents are at a high risk of drowning in open water. This age group does not fully understand consequence. They believe they are invincible. They overestimate their skills and underestimate dangerous situations. Peer pressure can make them succumb to the risk, and it is important to teach children to jump in feet first, as this will help prevent spinal cord injuries from jumping in head first. Also, it is important to teach adolescents to avoid alcohol during water activities, as most adolescents and adult drownings occur under the influence of alcohol. Swimming lessons are also an important way to protect your child from drowning. This is the final barrier to protect the child if they make it to the pool unsupervised. Studies have shown that formal swimming instruction can prevent drownings by 88%. Skills learned should focus on water competencies and survival, including swimming in clothes, swimming in life jackets, falling in, and practicing self-rescue. The ability to roll back to a float is a life-saving skill. Children should be taught how to find the exit of the pool and should be able to exit independently. Older children should be taught to swim greater than 25 yards. Swim lessons do not drown-proof the child, but add as an additional layer of protection. Listed are a few companies in our area that provide these types of swim lessons. And on the next slide, please click on the video for a child who's 15 months old learning how to swim in winter clothes.
You're heavy. You're heavy. You're gonna have to feel it. All right, you ready? 1, 2, 3. And I gotta get out of his way so you take the frame lead.
Good job.
Good job. Where's Errol? Where's Errol? Where are you?
The final layer to prevent drowning fatalities is the ability to give immediate CPR to victims. CPR needs to include rescue breathing for drowning victims, cannot just be hands only. Immediate CPR has shown a significantly better outcome for children who have had a drowning accident. Encourage all parents and caregivers to obtain infant and child CPR certifications. In 2018, I joined forces with other parents and nonprofits to create the national educational project, Parents Preventing Childhood Drowning. Last year, I opened a chapter of Swim Safe Forever for the Northwest Houston area. We provide swimming lesson scholarships to families in need of financial assistance. Last year, we had 22 scholarship recipients. We also educate on the layers of protection. Our pamphlets and posters are in several doctors' offices. We attend community events and speak with the public and media to bring awareness to drowning and education to the community. In addition, the Greater Houston area has many other nonprofits dedicated to this cause. With everything that we're doing, why do we continue to see such a high rate of childhood drownings? Yes, bringing awareness and education to parents would prevent a majority of the drownings, but is there something more we are missing? I believe culture plays a large role in drownings. Cultural beliefs and traditions may prevent children from learning how to swim, and socioeconomical reasons may prevent a child from obtaining the multiple swimming lessons needed to obtain water competency. Dionesia Grays understands this far too well. She did not swim as a child, nor as an adult, and did not feel the need to teach her child, Bria, how to swim. Bria went to an apartment pool with another parent, and while that parent was attending to a younger child, Bria got into the pool unnoticed and drowned. This was Bria's first time going swimming. Dionysia Grays has since created the nonprofit organization Bria's House to educate parents on the importance of swimming lessons, providing swim lesson scholarships to low-income households, and CPR training. Her website is listed here if you are interested in learning more about her efforts. On the other end of the spectrum, there are households that praise their children as being water babies. This cultural aspect is dangerous as we are encouraging fun and play in the water before safety and respect. In my opinion, parent-child classes that solely focus on water acclimation promote a false sense of security in the water. Flotation devices can also create a false sense of confidence within the child. They may believe that they are able to swim, but without this device, they would not be able to stay afloat. Parents may also have a false sense of security when their child is wearing a flotation device and may not be as attentive as they should be when they are supervising their child in the water. These devices have also been known to cause drownings when the child slips out of them or removes them while they're not supervised. Along with a false sense of confidence, puddle jumper type flotation devices can cause muscle memory to poor posture in the water. These devices keep the child in a vertical, upright position when worn in the water. Without the device, this position is impossible for the child to obtain and impossible for them to keep their head above the water. Most children are unable to learn how to tread water until they are about 4 years of age. This position, upright position, is also known as the drowning position. Routine use of this device can impair the child's ability to learn how to float horizontally to breathe. They also develop a bicycle kick to maneuver around the pool, and the bulky arm design of these devices impair their strokes of their arms. Young children also do not have the cognitive ability to understand the relationship of the puddle jumper and swimming in the pool. Here is a video that was taken by me 2 days before my son's drowning accident. He was a water baby. He loved the water and we encouraged him. We were proud of him. We thought he was so brave. We did not understand that he was not safe.
Come on, Jackson.
Here in this video, I inform you of several mistakes we made without even knowing. Mistakes that most parents make every day with their children when it comes to the water.
Oh, good boy. Good kicker. Good boy. Good job, Jackson. Yeah, I am. Go, baby. Jump.
Go, jump.
Jump, Jackson. Jump. Put it on. We're gonna flip. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. What are you doing? Float. That's my boy. That's my boy.
Well, how do we fix this? I believe we need to make changes with education, laws, and research. Education should be early and often, and quite frankly, it should span our lifetime. Pediatricians, please present education at well checks, starting at infancy and throughout adolescence. Focus on bathtub safety for infants, pool safety for toddlers and school-aged children, and open water for adolescents. More on this to come. Legislature, we can change our laws to protect our children. Every pool should have a fence. Pool fences can reduce the rate of drownings by 90%. They need to be at least 4 to 5 feet high, unclimbable, with self-closing and self-latching gates, with no furniture near the fence to climb. We could also have laws on requiring multiple layers of protection. If you have a pool, not only do you need a fence, but you also need an alarm on the door leading to the pool. We could also create laws to mandate education to make sure that this education is reaching parents and it's reaching these young children in school. Research. The AAP now recommends high-quality swimming lessons as an additional measure to prevent childhood drowning in children over 1 year of age. But does this mean all swimming lessons? Again, swimming lessons need to focus on water competencies and self-rescue to be an additional layer of protection for the child. Here's a picture of my son Asher at 2 years old floating in our pool. He has never worn a puddle jumper flotation device, and he took ISR swim lessons. If only I had taught my son Jackson how to swim like this instead of the fun parent-child classes, he may still be with us today. The AAP states there is a need for a broad and coordinated research agenda to address not only the efficiency of swimming lessons for children aged 1 through 4, but also the many components of water competency for the child and parent or caregiver. How can you help? Again, pediatricians are a constant in the child's life. You are respected and trusted upon to give parents the education they need to keep their children safe. Please include drowning prevention in your practice. Educate, assess, create, and display. Educate on the dangers of drowning at each age and stage. Assess the family's risk for drowning. Ask them if they have a backyard pool or live by a nearby water source. Ask them what measures they take to prevent an accidental drowning. They may not be able to answer that question appropriately, and that's when it's necessary to educate them on layers of protection. Create a drowning prevention plan with them. Encourage barriers in swimming lessons. And finally, you can display educational brochures, pamphlets, and posters in your waiting room and exam rooms. The AAP has created many PDFs and infographics for this use, if you click on the link down below. There are also so many nonprofit organizations that you can reach out to for materials, including Parents Preventing Childhood Drowning and Pool Safely. Here are a few of the educational PDF downloads from the AAP website. Simply print and give these to parents for additional education during well checks. These shown are safety tips for new parents, for newborns and infants, curious toddlers, and water safety for teens. This is also a great infographic from the AAP on backyard pool safety, showing a water watcher, pool alarms, encouraging you to clean up toys out of the pool when not in use, pool fences. Here are a few more examples of educational materials. Pool Safely is a great resource for these materials as they are shipped to you free of charge. I can help your facility obtain materials from Parents Preventing Childhood Drowning if you are interested. And you can also do what HCA Houston Healthcare has done and create your own material. I want to thank you all for taking the time to listen to me today. All of you have an important role to play in the prevention of childhood drownings. Please reach out to me if you have any questions or if you need anything at all I can help with. My email is ssfnwh@gmail.com. Together, we can change this. Thank you.